Hit the like button, hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Here we introduce Lola. Lola.
How are you?
Good, I'm good. Okay, are you ready for Ask Ashley?
Yes, I have pictures for you. I did go on a date with a guy, but I just don't think it's worth talking about. It was just...
Oh, what happened with the guy? Why didn't it work out?
He was just... I felt like he was kind of... He wasn't where I needed him to be, like, mentally, especially with himself. It seems like he was a little insecure and stuff. Like, you know, certain signs I would pick up on when we were at text. He was, you know, talking about his weight and...
Ain't this that shame, guilt, need to be right garbage I thought I heard Kevin Samuel say one time? Or somebody else said that one time. Listen, throughout this whole story, ain't no way that what happened to her, what occurred, could not have been all his fault. She doesn't take any blame whatsoever for the outcome of this date. She went on a date. Listen to her.
You know, things like that, and kind of like hope he was tall enough. But it was just me having a conversation with him. I don't know if I scared him or he was... I feel like he was intimidated a little bit. It was just so weird. He's 37. He did lie about his height. Don't get me wrong, but he was cute. I was like, okay, we can. Okay, you lied about your height, but you know.
So did y'all meet on an app? Was this?
Yeah, we met on a dating app, and then we decided to start texting. You know, exchange numbers and everything. Maybe after like 2 or 3 weeks, and then we decided to meet up and go out on a date and stuff or whatever. Just like I call it like an icebreaker date. You see what I'm saying? So that everybody can be comfortable and stuff or whatever. But I noticed that, you know, in the text messages and stuff already, I kept on telling him, like, it's okay, you know, don't worry about that. And I'm like, okay, he seems a little insecure and stuff, whatever. So when I go out on a date with him, I'm going to dig deeper. I'm going to ask you how you were, you know, raised, what was your upbringing and stuff. Why are you really single? Why have you been single? You see what I'm saying?
Lola, on the first date, you're asking a man, why are you single?
Yeah, like, why do we think he's single? I'm not supposed to ask him that?
I don't know. That feels a little heavy for a first date. That feels a little like... I felt how like you grew up. It just feels a little heavy. How you grew up? Why you single? Why you here with me right now?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Well, first off, she came out the bat doing that interrogation shit that people really don't like because they have to reveal themselves and they have to be truthful.
So you guys did go on a date. You guys did ask the questions. And did he reach out after? Or did he say
No, he hit it, honey. I haven't heard from him.
Okay.
But it's okay. I feel like that's a part of dating. You know, it's a hit or miss. You got to go out and see if you're...
See, she thought she was all that. See, this is one of those women who was probably 8, 9, or 10 when they were younger. She's one of those 8, 9, or 10s, don't have no kids, beautiful girl. And she thought she was rolling in that kind of atmosphere on this date. I'm an 8, 9, or 10. He should be grateful that I'm even looking at him. He was shorter than what he said. He seemed insecure. I had all my shit together. I was down. I was pretty. Oh, yeah, she seemed like that type. And sometimes when you think you're an 8, 9, or 10, you act like an 8, 9, or 10. And 8, 9, or 10s are somewhat obnoxious sometimes because they are, you know, considered the best of the best. And she doesn't have any children, so she really thinks she up there. Let's see.
Going to like this person's vibe and stuff. And I already felt kind of like I might be a little bit too much for him. Not in a bad way, but he's not my type. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to be I felt like it was going to be a lot of babying and cradling and stuff, whatever. And it's just like, I ain't got no kids for a reason. But anyways, and I haven't went out on a date since, but this is what I wore to the date. I did ask him to take pictures of me. I'm a I'm that type of girl. So what about this?
Oh, beautiful.
Yes, I got him to take that picture of me.
Oh, yes, you look beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, she's a beautiful girl. You know, she's on that 8, 9, or 10. You know, she is in her mind. She's the 8, 9, or 10, and she is. She's a beautiful girl. Don't get me wrong, and she don't have any kids. She feels like she was too intimidating. She feels like she was too much for him, and maybe she was, but he never said anything, so she didn't know. And that's the worst thing you can do for a egotistical 8, 9, or 10 is to not say anything because they want to know. If you don't say anything, you're going to be the problem. And this is how this outcome of the date came out.
I don't know. People are just serious. People are just not serious, and they just don't put forth the effort that they say they are. So with me, it's more so like, okay, well, it's okay. You don't have to. I'll let it go because you're gonna work for what you want. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can't be putting in more than you when it comes down to effort.
That is where it took a turn. Towards the end, it took a turn. I can't put in more effort towards you. You said you don't know.
I really don't know. Sometimes I feel like I want. Sometimes I feel like I.
See, if she said that, I would have been skedaddling to the door. I would have definitely been skedaddling to the door. Like, you don't need to state the obvious. Why would I be putting in a lot of effort and you're not putting in any effort? He probably got the vibe that I got, that, man, she gonna be a lot of work, and she talking too much, and it's like all on her end and it's none of my end, and she thinks she knows what's going on with me, but she really don't, and she wants me to be into her more than I am, and than she is to me. It could have been many factors why that motherfucker hit the door.
Let it organically unfold, but don't go through a checklist. Okay, where you live, what you drive, okay, what you do again? All right, so now you calculate. All right, you make that much. All right, so you think you could take me out here?
Well, I mean, I feel like it's certain questions that I do ask. I don't really get into too much of finances and stuff or whatever because you know how guys are. You just another one that's going to ask about money and stuff, whatever. So I really don't be getting into. I do feel that some guys, and that was just one guy that I ran into that was a little insecure. Some of these guys be trying to impress you instead of making an impact. I'll be impressed for the moment, but if you're really trying to make an impact in my life, then that'll be a difference. It's just, I don't know. I guess like some of these people don't even know how to date. Dating is exhausting, and people like.
She says she don't have a lot of time to waste. I wonder why she feels like that. I know she thinks that she should be in a relationship, getting married, and doing all those things right now. So what made you start right now? She's only 31. She has an opportunity to do that. This guy felt the desperation. He had to have felt the desperation with all of the questions, with all of the this, that, and the third that she was doing. He felt the desperation. So then they get to the juice of the date. They're bar hopping and do their thing. So what happens in the bar hop?
So we went from this bar to that bar. Of course, he paid for everything and, bought everything and stuff, whatever. And then, like, at the last bar, like, he just disappeared. I had to text him, and I was like, hey, did you leave? He was like, yeah, be blessed. And I was like, oh. So now I'm like 20 minutes away from my car, and I just felt like.
There's no excuse why he should have left you, but what happened at that last bar? Nothing. Did you guys have, like, a conversation, a talk? So you guys were just.
So let's be clear. He was a douchebag because he left her at the bar. You should never have left that woman at the bar. You don't know what could have happened. I would have escorted her back to her car if she had not been offensive. And you can't tell me she was offensive because she wasn't. She may have been a bitch or whatever you thought, but she was not offensive to the point of ghetto ratchet Keisha. You should have escorted her to the bar. That's your mistake as a man. You should have made sure she got back to her car, then ghosted her. You ghosted this female in the middle of a bar. You never know what's going on. She wasn't talking to anybody else except you. She turned around, you were gone. What were you thinking? What kind of man leaves a woman in a bar? And I get it. You may not have liked her. You may have figured out at the end of the date you wasn't getting no pussy. I get all of that. But as a man, you still should have made sure she was in her car and on her way home away from you before you ended the date. That's what a proper person is supposed to do. But you young motherfuckers these days, y'all be doing some silly shit. So you ghosted her on the fucking date in the middle of the bar. Anything could have happened. Anything could have happened. And I get it. Most of you men don't give a fuck about women unless you're fucking them. You could walk right past an old lady all day at work and not give a fuck about what's going on with that old lady. And you work with her for 2, 3, 5 years. And just because you ain't fucking her, you don't give a damn what happens to her. That's fucked up. And human beings need to start caring about what the hell happens to people when they in their presence, even if it's 5 minutes or so. Anything could have happened to this lady. And I get it. She seems like a handful, and she probably was a handful. She probably all night long kept saying how good she was, presenting how good she was, how good of an option. And you were like, oh, hell no, I can't take her home. I can't do none of that. Okay? And I can't do none of that. And maybe she was right. Maybe you were insecure. But there was no need to leave her at the bar by herself. That's a coward's move.
Sitting there looking at each other drinking, and he just walked out.
I mean, the music was kind of loud in that bar, so we were actually standing up in the back. I didn't even, you know what I mean? Nothing really happened at all. It wasn't no argument. It wasn't no. Why would he drag me around to like 3 bars and all that stuff? You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
no,
but like he was just a.
Yeah, I just feel like, no, and I'm not accusing you or him or anything, but I'm just saying, if you guys were in that 4th bar, you
see, she confused like me. Why the fuck didn't he stay there at the bar? What was going on at the bar that you would just bounce on a motherfucker? You just ghosted her. Why didn't you tell her? I don't think you and I are compatible. But why did you go around 5 different bars? Y'all bar hopping. See, I have the feeling you were waiting for something. You were waiting to give a sign as to whether she was going to pop the pussy, she was going to do something and let you know. Or maybe you knew right at that 5th bar that she wasn't going to give you the pussy. And so you just said, fuck it. I ain't getting the pussy. I'm bouncing. That's just trifling. That's trifling on your part. She should have made it clear, or maybe she did make it clear you wouldn't get the pussy at the last bar. And then you was like, fuck that. It was an awkward date all around, according to her too. And she said she thought about a couple things you said. You seemed like you were insecure. You can't bring all them kind of insecurities to a date. You got to come to the date knowing what you want and how you want it. Apparently, you wanted her at some particular point, and then on the 5th date, see, I never would have went no 5 bar hopping with a motherfucker, 5 bar hopping with a bitch if she wasn't my type. So we have to assume that she was your type at some point. And at some point, somewhere in your mind, you decided you weren't going to get what you wanted to get out of the relationship. And then you ghosted her. She was willing to go through with the date. She was willing to do whatever needed to be done with the date because she felt potential in you. Okay. So the only thing I can think was, in your mind, you had a checklist. You never said. And when she didn't check off the list that you wanted, you just decided to ghost her. And that's a bad date. These are bad dates simply because people don't know how to communicate. A lot of information don't need to be told. A lot, and she was asking some of the awkward questions, and maybe he just felt like the headache wasn't worth it. But you should have seen the girl home. That's fucked up. Mid-date, she in a bar by herself. Anything can happen, and you just walk out. I understand. Maybe her personality was intolerable. I get all that. But here's the scenario, my friend. What if she would have disappeared after that night, and you would have been the last person to see her or pay attention to her? This could have took a whole nother turn.